right. Now we gotta wait for people to find us. Okay, here's my new live. Going live with Brad and Bree. Live chat is currently on. All right, we're good.
Okay, we got 3 people on.
Hey guys, welcome. We're trying something very new this time by using YouTube. So if you were one of the ones that jumped on earlier and we cut you off, it's because we clicked the wrong button and turned off the chat feature, which would defeat the purpose of asking some questions. Hey Micah, glad to have you there. Micah McFarland said, hey guys. I wanted to tell me who's watching. If you guys are watching, go ahead and just comment your name because it's not really telling us like who is watching, but we want to know who we're talking to. So if you're watching, go ahead and just comment your name so we know who's there right now.
Micah.
Thanks, Micah. I got that. When you actually comment, it tells us your name. So even if you just comment hi, it'll tell me who you are.
Perfect. Well, do we want to give it a few more minutes?
Yeah, we'll just hang out with you guys a little bit while we wait for more people to jump on.
Well, we got Susie's on, Riley's on,
Zach, Xander,
Micah
and Lily.
Jarvis, Zach, Xander, and Lily.
I'm so happy to have you guys all here. I don't know about you guys, but staying home is a little hard for me because I'm the extrovert. Brad enjoys kind of staying home, laying low.
I will say that we've gotten more house projects done in the past week than we've gotten done since we moved to Michigan. So
it's true.
I mean, there's been perks to the coronavirus happening, things that I did not expect.
Yeah. So I'm going to say it again because a couple more people jumped on. If you jumped on, go ahead and just comment hi or comment your name and we can see who's all watching. It doesn't actually tell us who is watching, but once you comment, we get to see who you are. So we just want to know who's all there. Yes, Micah,
Okay.
We don't want to get the coronavirus though. Yeah, so our house projects are getting done. Our dog is getting more antsy than we are, I think.
That's true.
He's been crying all morning.
But we've taken him over to my parents' house quite a bit, so he's gotten a little bit of energy out. We went last night to the stores. We didn't have face masks. We just used a lot of hand sanitizer and some wipes, and it all worked out. So, who else we got?
Jessica and Mom are watching.
Cool. Hi, Pepper. Painted the wall. Okay, do we want to go ahead
Can
and
we
jump
see
in?
your dog is what Riley said. maybe in a minute. If we take him out right now, I promise you he'll probably knock over everything that we have set up right now. But yes, if you hang with us to the end, then maybe we'll introduce you to Charlie. He just turned 1 3 days ago or 4 days ago. I kind of was a dog mom fail and forgot when his birthday was until after it passed, but he just turned 1 and he's 65 pounds and all energy.
Hey, shout out to Bree though. Not only was it Charlie's birthday, but Bree's birthday is on Saturday.
Oh, that's true. It is my birthday on Saturday. Just me and Brad in my house for my birthday, but that's okay.
Yeah, we're probably not going to go out for a restaurant. Oh, do we want to jump in? I think we got quite a few people jumping on, and they're going to continue to come on. Reed's on.
Yep, so as people jump on, go ahead and just shoot us a comment with your name or something to say hi, and it'll let us know who's all watching. But we're so excited to have you guys jumping on. I know this is kind of weird, not having Amplify, not being able to go to church, having school canceled. There's a lot of social interaction that we're used to that we're not really able to have at the moment. But we're hoping that this is a way that we can just kind of hang out, interact. You guys can feel free to chat in the comments, and we'll dive in.
Maybe let's give an overview really quick of what our plan is for Amplify.
Before you do that,
yeah.
Did you start recording on your phone?
No.
See? I'm so helpful. Hi, Levi. Hi, Allison. Thank you, Miranda, and thank you, Micah, and Micah and the Jarvises, all celebrating my birthday. Yeah, it'll be a very different birthday because My favorite thing to do for my birthday is to be with people. Like, wouldn't you say?
Mhm.
Every birthday, when Brad asks me what I want, I just want to be with people. I want to hang out. I want to have people over. I want to go places with people. So this birthday will be a little different. So if you shoot me a text or a message on my birthday, that would make my day because I'm a little sad that I have to stay home this year. But that's okay.
Sure.
For good reason.
Yeah.
So, all right, overview of what today might look like.
Well, overview of what Amplify will look like right now. I mean, of course, we can't meet together like normal at like the church on Sunday nights, and a lot of our events that we had planned right now are all canceled. And so, going forward right now, as long as the government continues to keep up the isolation, staying at your houses, whatnot, our plan is that we want to be interacting a lot more on social media because that's our best option to hang out with you guys, to get to hear how things are going. So, I mean, our plan is that we would like to be sending out some texts to you guys. We want to be, Bree and I have actually been playing some different games with people through online.
Yes.
So that's been kind of fun.
I learned, all of my ideas of how to take good use of this time. I learned how to play Scrabble, you guys. I can't spell, and my vocabulary is not very big, but I learned how to play Scrabble, and I've kind of been obsessed with it the last, 24 hours. So there's an app called Words with Friends, and you play Scrabble against your friends. I'm not very good yet, but I've been practicing nonstop. So there's that. There is that. So I told Brad we have to go get a Scrabble board game from his parents' house so we can actually play Scrabble against each other.
Well, and I think they also have the whatever Pigeon app or something through
Oh yeah, so I don't know
iPhones. I don't think
Android-
Android has it,
maybe.
but I know Apple has that arcade center that you can be able to do with
Yeah.
people. So,
But if there's people, more than just 2 people living in your house, like if you have other people, you have siblings, pull out some board games, play some board games, and try new games. Like Brad and I realized we have a couple games in our closet that we've never opened. They still have plastic all over them. So we've been trying to read through new rules and find out what is this game and is this a fun game? Because we've just never played it. We always go to the same ones.
So I know that Micah actually posted in just a second ago, asked about beach camp. We'll talk about that in just a second. For the current moment, we're going to do just kind of fun interactions if you guys want. So games, sending out texts and whatnot. We also are going to try to keep up on our Instagram posting, and also you'll probably see some things coming through Facebook as well. Just to help you understand what we're doing, also to be putting out maybe options for you and your family to connect with one another. I think this time that we're in is a really cool moment for families because, so often I think life is going by so quickly and there's always the next thing that's coming up. And so it's easy to get so much into the habit of the next thing, that we start to lose sight of the family that we're with, being able to spend quality time with them. And so I think now we're living in a moment where that's it. That's all we got.
Need to live in the moment.
And so I think that this is a really cool opportunity for us to interact with our family members, to be able to get to know who they are more, to go deeper with them. And so we're going to be sending out probably different posts of maybe fun ways that you can be able to interact. I know that maybe some of you saw yesterday we posted, hey, have a camp out in your living room. That's a favorite of Bree and I, actually. We're such outdoorsy people. And so,
when we can't go outside, we bring the outside activities inside.
Well, and we did it even in Chicago. Up in our apartment. We had this little itty-bitty apartment, and we're like, you know what? We're going to pull out our camping gear, and we're going to go set it up in the middle of that, and we'd flip off the lights, and boom, there's the city in the background. And so
instead of the starlight at night, we had the city light at night. But, it was
fun tips that we've learned is that it's fun sometimes on your TV to actually go to YouTube, and you can pull up a fire crackling, or there's also outdoorsy images and sounds and whatnot.
Waterfalls, rivers, there's all these really long, 3-hour long videos of just a loop of sitting in a river or something. So sometimes we'll turn those on our TV and just feel like we're at the river, even if we're not.
Yeah. I see a lot of people saying, well, you can actually still go outside.
Yeah, you can go outside. However, I don't like the cold. And so when it's cold outside, I don't really want to be outside in the cold. I'd rather be out and about with people.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Your nice 72-degree house and whatnot. So yeah, that's what we've got coming up kind of for Amplify, and our hope is that we'll be much more present on just any of the social media platforms. So I mean, even this Facebook Live, this is an opportunity for us to, or not Facebook Live, YouTube Live, for us to kind of interact with you guys a lot more than what we can currently do. So
Yeah.
I think
I
that's
had something else to say. So we've
student
been
life.
posting on Instagram, on our student Instagram page. And then we've also been trying to share them over to the Facebook page. I know some of you and a lot of you don't have social media, but hopefully your parents at least are on the church Facebook page. And so you guys can see some of those ideas that way. But let us know, like, what's the best way for us to actually connect with you guys? Is it going to be through Instagram? Is it going to be through Facebook? Is it going to be doing some YouTube lives? Is it going to be some text reminders or some emails that we send out? We know a lot of you have different means of communication, so just let us know what works best for you, because we definitely want to connect with you guys and encourage you guys and help give you ideas of how to spend some of this time. It's really easy to just sit on the couch and feel sorry for ourselves that we're stuck, doing whatever, or maybe not. Maybe you wanted to sit on the couch all day. But the point being, we want to be productive still. We want to honor God with whatever time we have, whether we're in our house or we're outside with people. And so we want to encourage you guys that way. So, yeah. I'm catching up on comments.
Yeah.
I love seeing you guys talking. It makes me happy.
I've already gotten a text about playing a game.
Oh.
So.
Playing a game. Oh, like a game.
Through the arcade. Apple. So.
Oh, someone requested to play a game with you. See? We'll be playing games later, guys. Send us requests. Play some Scrabble against me. I'm not very good, so you'll probably win.
Trying to think. Oh, so let's talk about student life.
Student life. Do you want me to share what I got email-wise?
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's talk about the email that Student Life sent out.
Perfect. So Student Life has been sending me some emails, keeping me in the loop. As of right now, Student Life is still planning, as of I think yesterday, they were still planning on doing their summer trips, their summer camps. So as of this very current moment, to the best of my knowledge, the trip is still happening. However, with some of the quarantine things and stuff shutting down, finding some service projects to raise money is being a little more difficult. We still have our 2 days on the calendar for the KOA, so we need to kind of look into that.
Yeah.
And see if that's still okay. I mean, it's a big campground. You guys can spread out. Don't get too close. We'll see how that works. But just a heads up, large things that we're planning on doing, like a dinner at the church where we raise money, or a garage sale or something like that, those kind of activities right now are more questionable. We're not sure if we can actually pull those off before the trip. So we're still hoping we can make the trip happen, but the fundraising opportunities might be a little tricky. So that's what we're kind of working on. So if you guys have ways to earn money at home, or a job that you can start saving money, think ahead of, can I save a little bit of my own money to help go towards this trip? Because I don't know if we'll be able to fundraise all of it, because we need to raise $11,000 for everyone to go on the trip, or something around there, between 10 and 11,000. So that's a lot of money, and this has kind of affected how we're able to raise that money. But
yeah, I think it's harder for us as the church right now to be able to make all these opportunities happen, just with all of the restrictions that are taking place. But I mean, what we would love to see you guys anyways do is look for opportunities that you have for me, when I used to go to Student Life, it wasn't always the service projects that I actually made my money off of. And so honestly, I would say actually more of the money that I made for the Student Life trip came from opportunities of me just reaching out into the community. So there was people saying, hey, I'd love for you to come and vacuum out my entire basement. And so I went over there and vacuumed out their basement. And there's just a lot of opportunities for you guys. If you just say, hey, mom and dad, I want to be able to raise this money. Do you know of anybody that might have these opportunities for me? And that's honestly going to be a great option for you guys as well. It's just harder right now because a lot of people aren't telling us options that they have for us to do. And so we know that parents will know right now. So that's kind of an encouragement for us. Continue to be active in trying to seek out those service project opportunities.
The Jarvises are asking how much they need to raise or make. So generally right now the trip is going to be somewhere between $500 and $550 per student. Now again, like we're hoping to raise some of that. Originally we had said we were trying to raise as much, if not all of that. But because of the coronavirus right now, it's put some limits on what we're able to do to raise that money. And so, we'll have to see how much we're able to raise. I don't think you'll have to pay, if you're willing to kind of work with us on it, I don't think you'll have to pay $500 per person. I think we will be able to raise some of that money. I'm just not guaranteeing that every student will get to raise $500 a person. But the Lord is good. He knows how it's going to all work out. And so we're going to continue to be faithful and look into opportunities of how we can serve people.
I see people asking how many are going on the trip.
30. We have 30 students signed up to go on the trip. And we'll have about 8 leaders, I think, on the trip. Mm-hmm. So it'll be a big group. We're looking at a group of about 40 people.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty much most of our announcements that we have coming up.
Yeah.
So just keep an eye out.
Canceled this Sunday again. As far as anything after that, the church is currently working through that this week. The elders are meeting this week, pastors are meeting this week, and we're trying to figure out what the next couple weeks and months might look like for the church. So we're giving you a confirmed for sure, nothing on this Sunday, no church service, no Amplify. But after that, we'll let you know as soon as we know what the plan is. I see our numbers have spiked a little bit of who's all watching. So if you haven't commented anything yet, go ahead and just comment your name so we can know that you're there and you're watching.
Yeah.
Great. So
just keep an eye out. We'll be sending out videos like this too, probably at different times. And so I know that Bree and I have talked about ways that we want to help continue to encourage you guys. And so we may be shooting out just like really short scripture passages that we've been working through, daily encouragements. So just keep an eye out. We'll be around on the social media stuff.
So the first thing that we were going to talk about was, shocker, the coronavirus. So there's a lot out there right now. There's a lot on social media. There's a lot that the news is saying. There's a lot that the papers are saying. And the first thing that we just want to encourage you guys is for those of you who might be freaking out or might be afraid or might be concerned of like, what is all of this? Is the world ending? We just want to remind you to keep calm and know that God is still in control. And the media and the news, though some of their information that they're giving out is accurate and helpful, they like to over-exaggerate things to scare people a little bit. The news and the media like to pull you into their information. On a practical end of things, like they make money when people are watching their news stations or reading their articles online. And so they're going to try to give you whatever information they can to pull you in and get you to look at it. I got a text from someone who can't seem to find the video, the live stream. So with that being said, don't believe what you read, but don't overreact or freak out to things that you might hear or you might read, because the reality is, like, yes, we're trying to be proactive right now, and we're trying to protect people. 18 and under are the most resilient to the virus right now. So you guys are honestly the best breed out there. Out of all the people that could potentially get the coronavirus, you guys are the ones who would handle it the best. Your bodies would fight out the best, most likely. Now, the people who are most at risk are those they're saying are like more 60 and older, but even some in like their 50s can be more higher risk. The older you get, the higher risk you are, as well as those who are like immunocompromised. However, it's also the same that those people are the most at risk with the common flu and things like that. And so the reason why the government is trying to help quarantine people is to protect those who are way more at risk. They know that the students in the schools may not be at risk, and even if you got the coronavirus, you may not even realize it because your body fights it off so well, but you could take it home and give it to someone who's more at risk. And so that's why they're trying to keep people home and keep people safe, because there are people who could be really hurt by it. But the majority of people wouldn't like die from it or wouldn't be severely injured or something from it, but we are carriers of it. We can carry it from someone to someone else who's way more at risk. And so that's why all this is happening. That's why there's things shutting down. That's why we're trying to stay out of public spaces. It's because we're trying to protect those who can't really protect themselves right now.
I think I want to talk about two different perspectives that we're seeing take place in the United States and across the world. I think you see a lot of people who are going, you know what, this is ridiculous. Like, this is blown over. Like, they're going way overreacting on all of this. Like, I don't know even why we're shutting down, if it's really not that big of a deal. And so there's that group of people who really think that this is just, we shouldn't even care about this. This is not that big of a deal. And then I think that there's the other group who's on the total opposite spectrum, where they're going, oh my goodness, I'm going to die from this. The likelihood is that I'm just going to have to stay at home and never be able to leave, and the world's ending. This is the apocalypse. And so there's two different realms in which we're seeing people land. And also the middle, I think, too, where we're seeing people go, you know what? There's a balance between these two things. And that's the one I want us to really focus on as, I think, believers, is that, one, we understand that this is a situation that we need to be aware of and be conscious of, and working towards being the most proactive in how we wash our hands, or if we're coughing, we cover our mouth, and understanding those things, but then also not living in a state of fear. I think when we look through scripture, we constantly see God saying, you know what? I'm going to take care of you no matter what the situation is. I mean, it's been interesting. I've been reading through Matthew 6. And actually, let me read through that really quick for you guys. Matthew 6, 19 through 33, actually 34. It just goes through and it talks about, one, not storing up these treasures on earth, and understanding that moth and rust can destroy, but then also the fact that when we look at birds that live out in the fields, it's God takes care of them. And it's not like they're going out and looking for clothing to wear. They're not looking for food. It's that they already know that God's going to provide for them. And then the end of Matthew 6, it's just talking about, you know what? Don't worry about these things, saying, what will we eat? What will we drink? What will we wear? And it says, these things dominate the thoughts of unbelievers. But your heavenly Father already knows all your needs. Seek the kingdom of God above all else and live righteously, and he will give you everything you need. So don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will bring its own worries. Today's trouble is enough for today. And I love that, because it's talking about God's going to provide for your food. God's going to provide for your clothing. He's going to provide for the drink that you need. And all of these things, God understands that you need them. And then God is also going to provide for you in the ways that you need it. And so it's saying you know what? Don't worry about what's going on in the world around you. And don't let it dominate you. And a domination is when that's all that you can think about. And so I think that's the world we're living in right now. People are dominated about, am I going to die from this? Am I going to get sick? Should I go out? Because if I walk out, I might catch the coronavirus. And so they live in this constant state of fear. And as a believer, that's not what you're called to. You're not called to live in a state of fear, but in a state of peace and trust in God. So that's just been something that I've been continuing to read through. I encourage you, every day that I've been, ever since this kind of came out in the United States, I've been just reading through Matthew 6 and reminding myself, you know what? This is a moment for me to trust in God. And you know, I'm not living it perfect right now. There's still moments where all of a sudden I'll freak out and I'll be like, I'm going to get sick. But then I have to remind myself and calm down and say, you know what? God's got it all under control. And I can rest in that fact, and I can be at peace in that. So that's kind of an encouragement for me to you guys as we're living in this crazy time, crazy 2020 year, and we're trying to figure out what the next steps are as a nation, what the next steps are as a world, what the next steps are as a family. And my encouragement would be is, as you are a believer, if you have your faith in Christ, then live in a state of peace. Seek God and he will give you peace. And be reminded of the fact that he loves you, he cares for you, and he wants the best for you. Okay, Brie, what's...
I'm interacting with them via the chat because they've been responding to what you're saying.
Gotcha.
So, people have been jumping on and saying hi. And Allison said their family's actually memorizing that verse right now. So that's really cool. And
I encourage you, actually, one other thing is that that's not the only passage that it talks about this. And so maybe an encouragement for you guys is every day set aside some time to get into God's Word and go through all of the passages that talk about fear and also the passages that talk about peace, and seek those out during this time.
That's something that I've been doing. I have one of those letter boards where it's like a felt board and you can put your letters into the little rows. And yesterday I was putting a new verse on it, and I just wanted to, I did that the other day when I was reading the Bible before I went to bed, and I came across a verse that, again, it was about do not fear, and it was God saying that he's already overcome the world, so there's no reason to be afraid. And I was like, whoa, thinking of that right now, if God has already overcome the world, why am I afraid of the world? God's already conquered this world. We're just here living in it in this moment. We're here to be his servants. We're here to be his hands and his feet, but there's no reason to be afraid because God has already conquered this world, and we already know our future hope is somewhere else. And so, that just encouraged me. And then I found another one last night that, actually, I'll share it with you guys in a little bit. It was going to be part of my message I was going to share on Sunday. And so I put that one on my letter board to just remind me of some cool steps about seeking joy and God's protection over us. And I think there's a fun statistic. I'm trying to remember the exact phrase. I think it's do not fear or something of that sort. Do not be afraid. Do not fear. There are 365 verses in the Bible that say do not fear or something of that sort. And so there's a cool reminder that God said it enough in the Bible that you have a different verse for every day of the year. I guess except this year because of the leap year. But in general, every day of the year, God has a different verse to remind you to not be afraid. And so that's something, and it's easy for us to even get afraid or be scared for a moment of oh no, Brad will get worried about me being pregnant and knowing that I can catch things a lot easier than he might. And so he can get really worried and really scared about what about Bree? What about our son? But again, do not fear, do not be afraid. God's already conquered this world. So that's that reminder. Allison wants you to say hi.
Hey, Allison.
She said, Bree, tell Brad I said hi. I love seeing your comments, guys. I love seeing you guys interact. This makes my heart so happy to see you guys just getting to talk and hang out. We get to kind of talk into it a little bit too. So I love this. This is great. I wish we could do this on Sunday nights, but when we can't do it on Sunday, at least we can do it here. So did you want me to talk a little bit about my message for Sunday?
Let's do that.
Perfect.
So let's maybe rewind while you're getting ready. Let's talk about what we were talking about. So we started up a new message series. Maybe some of you weren't there the Sunday night that we did that. We were talking about faith to move mountains. And what we want to see behind this whole message series that we were going to talk about and / are going to talk about is the fact that faith is the power for life. And God gives us this power through faith to live our life, one, not in fear, and in every other way. And so we wanted to go through this time of seeing, okay, faith gives us this power for life, but how does that break down? And so this week, it was really cool. I was kind of bummed that we were not going to be having Sunday night because for Bree, she was actually going to be talking about how faith comes through choosing joy. And so, Brie, how about you give us a little bit of what you were going to talk about?
Yeah. So when we started preparing the faith series, Brad was looking at what the different weeks ahead we're going to focus on, and he got to the week of joy, and he came running into the living room. He's like, Brie, I know what message I want you to teach this month. And I was like, okay, like what would you like me to teach on? And he's like, I want you to teach on joy. And I just kind of started laughing because this is one of the things that currently in my life I'm so passionate about, because it's the thing that God has taught me the most about, and it's the thing that's caused me the most pain and the most satisfaction at the same time. Not joy specifically causing pain, but learning the really hard process of joy being able to replace that pain. And there's been a lot of like reoccurring things in my life in high school and college, moving here, where it hasn't been easy on me. It's been really difficult. In high school, I had a lot of my friends betray me. A lot of my friends turned their backs on me. I had a lot of people talking trash about me. And it didn't just stop when I left high school. Even 2 years after I graduated high school and hadn't seen those friends, I would still get like hate messages from them randomly. And finally, Brad would have to step in and say, you guys need to back off a little bit. And so I experienced that for so long, of going to school and knowing I was walking into a place where I was going to be talked about, and not in positive ways, a place where I was going to be hurt and offended, a place where I was going to be disappointed every day because of something someone said or did, or I would be asked to help lead a chapel. I went to a Christian school, and so I'd be asked to help lead like a chapel on a Thursday morning, and talk about like my heart for ministry and my experience working with kids. And I'd walk out of that and I'd hear people whispering all over the school that I was the biggest hypocrite. And it wasn't true. My heart really was in it. My heart was to be in ministry, but there were people who had it against me, and that it hurt me a lot throughout high school. So by the time I graduated, I was like, peace out, I'm done. I'm going somewhere else. But I thought that would be the end of the pain, and it didn't stop there. When I went to college, I did not want to go to Chicago. I did not want to live in a city. I still am amazed at what God did in my heart over my 4 years in Chicago. I went to Chicago because I knew that God called me and asked me to be there. And it was going to be a little closer to Brad, and I felt like the Lord was really putting that step in front of us as far as our friendship and our relationship. And so I kind of fought God a little bit and was like, well, I'm going to apply. I'm not going to get in. It's going to be fine. And then I got an early acceptance, and like all of my tuition was covered. I just had to pay room and board, and I just had to say yes. Like that's God moving. That's God working. And so I went to Chicago, and I was so filled with fear and anxiety and depression being there, to the point where I'd cry myself to sleep. I'd have a full-out panic attack where I couldn't breathe in my bed before going to sleep because I was terrified of what the next day would look like. If I took one step off of campus, I would start to panic because I felt so afraid of where I was. And Brad, that I went through that physically, like on my own, that whole first year. I knew no one in the Chicago area. I knew no one in the city. I knew no one at the school. The only person I knew that was the closest to me was Brad, and he was 2 hours away. And so then my sophomore year, Brad joined me in Chicago, and I got halfway through that school year, and Brad's like, Brie, you should see a counselor. Like, you got to work this out. This isn't healthy. You can't live like this. Because I wasn't able to get my homework assignments done on time. I wasn't able to succeed in my classes because I was so anxious about where I was, that my mind was so focused on my fear and my anxiety that I wasn't able to put myself into what God asked me to do. And so I started a process of seeking joy. And that's what Brad asked me to share with you guys. And my goodness, you guys, God gives joy. Joy to the people who don't deserve it. Joy to the people who don't think they can find it. Joy to the people who don't even believe in it at points. Like when I was in Chicago, there were times where I thought joy was some fantasy. Like there's no way I'd ever experience joy because there's no way that that's actually as good as it sounds. but it was a pursuit. It wasn't instant. It wasn't overnight. It was something I had to continually pursue Christ for. And over time, that anxiety melted away, that fear melted away, that depression melted away. And one day, I still remember I was walking through Chicago with Brad, and we kept trying to work on, getting out in the city, walking around, getting outside. And for the first time in a year and a half, I said the first positive thing about Chicago I'd ever said in my whole life. And we were walking along the lakefront, and we had walked away from the city along the lakefront on a big path, and then we turned around and were walking all the way back to the city. And as I looked up at the city, I looked at Brad and I was like, wow, those city lights are really pretty at night. And Brad and I both stopped in our tracks and our jaws dropped, because as soon as the words came out of my mouth, I didn't even realize just how amazing of a moment that was for me personally. Because after a year and a half of this fear and this anxiety and this depression just wrestling me down every single day, I felt the first weight lifted off my shoulder, realizing I can be positive. It's my choice to seek the joy in this day and in this moment. Now, of course, there were things I still didn't like about the city, but that moment brought Brad and I both almost to tears, realizing there's hope, there's joy, there's goodness in this world, even when we're hurting, even when we're in pain. And so I was going to share a message with you guys on Sunday about what that whole process looked like, what steps God asked me to take, and what steps I had to take scripturally to get there. But obviously, I'm not going to sit here and give you guys a 20, 30-minute message. But that's just a big part of my testimony and my story of what God's done in my life. And I'd say, honestly, when I talk about Brad and I always have the slogan in our life of the greatest adventure, adventure awaits. And I would say, looking at my life, my greatest adventure has been to seek joy all the time. In all honesty, yes, you're an adventure too, honey. I love you. But my greatest adventure is to seek joy, because it is an adventure, and sometimes it's hard to find, but it's always there. But you have to seek it, and you have to find it, and you have to ask God for it. And so I'll skip past the first part of the message. Was going to be talking about what does joy look like, and I think we have an idea. There is a difference between joy and happiness. If some of you guys saw my post a few days ago about can you be happy all the time, and Reed responded with a good answer. You can't be happy all the time. Happiness, this is my definition. Happiness is an emotion based on your circumstances, but joy is a sought after response in any circumstance. Happiness is an emotion based on your circumstances, but joy is a sought after response in any circumstance. And so happiness is something that you feel good about, something makes you happy. Joy is something that you can feel, but joy is something that you choose to seek. And that's the difference, is that you can't just have this happiness in any moment, because not every moment in life is happy. We live in a broken world. As you can see right now with the coronavirus, we live in a world that's broken, and there's pain and there's heartache, but we have the opportunity to seek that joy. And God asks us to, he calls us to. And so there's so many verses in the Bible about joy and what a beautiful gift that it is, in every trial and in every heartache. And so I had created a kind of a 3-step process to find joy in any circumstance. So step 1 was to ask. John 16:24 says, "You haven't done this before. Ask using my name, and you will receive, and you will have abundant joy." You haven't done this before. Ask using my name, and you will receive, and you will have abundant joy. The first thing to seek joy and to find joy is to ask. Do you know why they're commenting question marks? I don't know what they're all confused about.
No, keep going.
So step 1 is ask, you guys. When we need to seek joy, when we're seeking and looking for that joy, step 1 is just to ask God for it. Ask him to help you find it. Ask him to show you where it is. Ask him to help you feel the relief of what joy can give you. Step one is just to ask. But to ask using the name of Christ. Step two is to seek. Matthew 7:7 says, keep on asking and you will receive what you ask for. Keep on seeking and you will find. Keep on knocking and the door will be open to you. So one of my favorite parts about that verse is the fact that before the verb of like asking or seeking or knocking, it says keep on. It doesn't say just ask, just seek, just knock, and it's there. But it's keep on asking. It's a repetitive thing. It's something that you don't just ask once and you get it and you have it forever. But you keep on asking, you keep on seeking, and you keep on knocking. And God will give it to you, but then you're going to have that pain again. And you're going to have to continually ask, seek, and knock to find that joy. And then step 3 is to remain. I have loved you. John 15:9-11 says, I have loved you even as the Father has loved me. Remain in my love. When you obey my commandments, you remain in my love, just as I obey my Father's commandments and remain in his love. I have told you these things so that you will be filled with my joy. Yes, your joy will overflow. So after you ask, after you seek, remain in that love of Christ. Remain in that place where you're always seeking him, you're asking him, you're seeking out the joy that he can provide for you. Because when we remain in Christ, that's when we have access to things like joy, things like hope, things like faith. But we have to remain in that presence with Christ. And so Romans 12:12, this is the verse that I put on my letter board, and it says, be joyful in hope, be patient in affliction, and faithful in prayer. Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, and faithful in prayer. And so, like an example of how when I was trying to seek joy, I knew this is something I have to continually seek every day. And it was hard at the beginning because there was nothing that I liked about the city. There was nothing that I was joyful about. But to continue to seek it, I made a sign on my wall in my dorm room, and it said, seek joy. And then every time that I had one of those little Chicago moments, whether it was seeing the city lights or the night that Brad and I fed a homeless man our pizza, or, there were these different experiences that I got to my dorm room and I realized that was so satisfying. Like there was joy in that moment. I was happy I was here. And so those are the moments that I would write down on cute little sticky notes and I'd put them up on that wall, my joy wall. And for a while, there were only like 1 or 2 sticky notes on that wall. But I'd have to every day wake up and thank God for those 2 things that I could seek joy in. And then as I continued to do that every day and seek joy in just that one thing or just those 2 things, I started to notice more things in the city I liked. God, thank you for friendship. I find joy in having my friends here and these new friendships. That was another sticky note on my wall. And every day it continued to grow until my wall filled with the things I was joyful about. And then fast forward to our last year in Chicago, and my goodness, there was no place we'd rather be. Like, it was incredible. We'd go for walks together. I'd specifically just want to go walk to the grocery store just to walk the city. And by the time we packed up and moved out to move here, Brad and I were pulling out of Chicago, got on the highway, and the city was in our rearview mirror. And sorry, I'm about to embarrass you. We both just started to cry because we realized how much joy that city had given us and how much we loved that city. Now, fast forward 4 years before, when Brad and his sister Jessica dropped me off on the school campus and drove away and left me, I cried myself to sleep that entire night because I thought, God, how am I going to do this for 4 years? 4 years later, I wept when I drove out of the city for the last time, as far as it being my home. And I was like, God, why would you have me leave this place? And so that process of seeking joy, you guys, it can be such an incredible experience to seek that joy, to feel that joy. And so it's just interesting because I used to struggle so much with my anxiety and my depression and my panics. But now I'd say those are some of the things I struggle with the least for the most part. just because I've learned how to so quickly seek that joy and move on. And there are still moments that are hard. When I moved here, I struggled with being depressed for a while because I miss Chicago, I miss the city. But again, learning to seek joy, and I had to go through that process of finding those little things that God gave me as a gift and seeking joy in those things. And it slowly continued to spread through every bit of my life until now. I can't imagine living anywhere else.
Been going through, just started reading a book by Nancy Lee DeMoss, or Wolgemuth now, and it was talking about choosing gratitude, and which is the exact same. It's choosing joy, and the fact that it's a daily action. It's not something that just you choose it at one moment and then for the rest of your life you're now all of a sudden just doing it every moment. But it's a continual process. Every moment that you come face to face with something that you're like, I don't know if I like this, you have the opportunity in that moment to choose it, to choose joy.
Yeah. The cool thing that I had at the end of this was like, well, then why do we even need joy? Like, what's the point besides just feeling good or something? And there's two reasons that I found. There's so many, but there's two reasons I found that I wanted to share scripturally really quick about why we need joy, what the purpose of joy is. The first one is that when we are weak, God is strong. When we show our weakness, when we have our weaknesses, but we seek God to fulfill us through that, that's when God's power and his strength shines through us to other people. And I would say, like, I pray that that's what my life has been over the last couple of years, that going through that process, I've been able to show other people the power of God's strength in my incredible weakness as a human. Because it was rough. Like, Brad had to live through that with me, and it hurt him to see how much I was hurting. But through that process of me being weak, it made God look so strong through me. And it showed other people that, and it showed myself how strong God really is. And then the second reason is that joy is an expression when our faith is being developed. And so this kind of is full circle back to how is joy a fruit of our faith. And Romans 5:3-4 says, we can rejoice too when we run into problems and trials, for we know that they help us develop endurance, and endurance develops strength of character, and character strengthens our confident hope of salvation. And so it's a process. It's a process of we rejoice or we have joy when we run into problems and trials, because we know that they help us develop endurance. Endurance develops our strength of character. So endurance helps us build character in who we are. And that character strengthens our confident hope in salvation, or our hope in the faith that we have. And so when we have joy in pain and in trials, ultimately through the cause and effect, it's what gives us confidence in our salvation and in our faith. So that's what I had, Brad.
Very cool. Well, I think we're going to move into our final part.
Q&A. Can I have my phone back?
Okay, here you go.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think that it's really appropriate for us right now in this moment to choose joy. Even when we're maybe stuck inside and we don't get to do all the things that we were hoping, or maybe we were just talking about this morning, maybe you're a senior and you're someone who's graduating really soon, and I know that certain schools have already canceled their graduations, and that's a hard reality to live into. But you still have the opportunity to choose joy in the moment and to be a light to shine for Christ. So that's just our encouragement for you guys on our Faith to Move Mountains message series. And so now what we're going to do is we opened up this time, probably I'd say, how long do we want to shoot for a Q&A time?
Like 10 minutes at the most.
Yeah, so let's do 10 minutes.
Because then we would have been on.
This is the opportunity for you guys to ask any question. We said faith, family, anything in between.
If you want to know something about me and Brad, feel free to ask us a question about us. We have the right to choose if we're going to answer or not, depending on what your question is. But
we may pick and choose.
Feel free to ask us. I'll start. I had Reed asked us 2 questions earlier, and I pulled those up. So first, Reed asked, "How are Brad and Bree doing?" So you guys can start entering your questions now, and then we'll have questions to answer if you have questions for us.
One of them asked, "What are you going to do if the gym is closed?" No.
Oh yeah, that's real.
I've already covered it, guys.
We're working on seeking joy.
So you know Planet Fitness? Yeah, well there's Wurzel Fitness now, and it's at my parents' house. I took some of our equipment over there, and so I've been working out there because they actually have a bench set and whatnot. So I'm not struggling too much. I'm still choosing joy in the moment.
Although every day he'll get antsy and reach a point. I gotta go work out, and then he'll leave, which is fine. Okay, so first, before you jump into all of those as they're entering them, so Reed asked, "How are Brad and Bree doing?" Every day is different. That's my answer. If Reed is still on there, I don't know if he is, but how are Brad and Bree doing? Every day is different right now. I think Brad's doing better than Bree because Brad is an introvert and Bree's an extrovert. So for Brad, being forced to stay home and just be a family and kind of do our own thing to him is like rejuvenating and refreshing. And there are times where like he wants to go work out or something like that. Like he misses being able to go to practice and coach track right now. But for him, I'd say it's easier. For me, it's a little more of a struggle because I love people. I love interacting with people. I love seeing people, and I don't have more people than just Brad, which I love Brad, but if you guys know Brad, you know that all Brad is a lot of Brad sometimes. I'm just kidding. So yeah, that's my response to that one. How are Brad and Bree doing? Do you have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think it's been going okay. We'll have to check back in once it's like week 4 of this whole thing. But
we're not sharing how long this is lasting. Okay, I'm gonna be really honest. I'm gonna be really blunt here. Okay. So I know a lot of you are probably home with your family, home with siblings. You have someone that rubs you the wrong way or someone that bugs you and you're like, I can't stand it or whatever. It's not just you guys. I mean, Brad and I will have our moments too where we get sick of being just the 2 of us all the time, where we will rub each other the wrong way, we'll poke at each other, we'll make fun of each other, we'll annoy each other, we'll get mad at each other. So it's not just you guys, just so you know. But you can seek joy. No, I'm just kidding. But we also love each other. We love hanging out. We love playing games. We love being together. And so don't give up on your family. Don't give up on your siblings. Don't lock yourself in your room because someone's bothering you. Like, it's not just you guys. You know, we all do it. We all feel it. It can get sometimes tense when it's just a few people all the time together. That's just being human. Like, you're going to rub someone the wrong way. But it's how you respond to that and how you work it out, how you apologize if you said something you shouldn't have. Because we've gotten to do a lot of that in the last couple of days. Right?
Yeah.
If we're being honest, I mean, Brad and I are human too. So that's that. And then Reed's other question was, how is the coronavirus affecting the summer trip or any planned fundraisers? Which we already covered that at the beginning. So. Okay.
One of the other questions.
I gotta scroll back.
Bree and Brad, what are your favorite numbers?
You go first.
I'm assuming numbers? Just like number?
Yeah, just a number. What's your favorite number?
22, because that used to be my football jersey. And 7.
Now you are 22.
Yeah, and I'm
feeling
22.
I'm feeling 22.
So probably 22.
We're both 22
7.
at the moment for a couple days.
Yep. So that's my number. What's your number?
I've always liked 7. I like odd numbers because I like being odd. I just feel like it's more fun in life to be odd. So I like odd numbers. So I've always liked 7 has really been my favorite. I like 3 because it's little and it's small, like me. And then I like 13 because people are superstitious about it, but I don't believe in superstition. So I like 13.
Okay.
That's why I like those numbers.
Here, I'll be the moderator, or is that what they do? Moderator or monitor?
I don't know.
Whatever the person is that reads the questions, and then we can answer.
Okay.
Okay, so let's do you like turtles?
In movies, like when they're animated, yes, because they're cute. In real life, no. Because my brother had 2 turtles and they stink. Like, given he probably didn't clean the tank when he should have, but oh my goodness, you want to smell like rotten poop in your house every day of your life? Go get a turtle. That's my response.
I like turtles, I think. We went down to Cancun, Mexico one time, and actually they were releasing turtles into the ocean. And so I got to release like this little itty bitty turtle into the ocean. So that was kind of fun. So
the little ones are really cute. Victoria will find some little ones at the pond, and literally like they're like this big. And she kept 2 of them for like a couple weeks, and then finally let them go so that they wouldn't die. But yeah, okay, that's the turtle question.
They asked if we're gonna do more of these. Yes, at different points. Probably not every single day, but we will be having these at different points.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe Sunday night we'll go live or something. I don't know. Yeah. We'll let you know when the next one is, but we do plan to do more of these. Why are you skipping so many, Brad?
No. There was also, do you like horses? That was one of them.
I do like horses. My sister actually has an associate's degree in equestrian and owns her own horse equestrian center. It's not really like a ranch or a farm, but it's an equestrian center, and she shows horses. And when she was like a freshman in college, she actually showed her horse at Arabian Sport Horse Nationals and actually won awards. And so every time we get to go visit my family in Washington, we also get to go down to the barn and like help her with her 8 horses and walk them through the fields, and it's great. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Brad's gotten to ride horses out there. I know. I love it. It's like a scene from a movie because my parents live on the top of a really big hill out in like the woods, and there's mountains in the background, and you just kind of like ride the horses through like my parents' 50 acres of rolling hills, and it's very like picturesque, like movie scene. But yeah, so we do like horses.
Let's see, other questions. Keep shooting them in so that way we can finish it. We've got what is your baby's name again? We're not sharing that.
We actually picked his name,
but we're not sharing it yet.
We don't know about his middle name. We haven't totally decided on that one, but his first name we picked it, but we're not gonna tell people.
Problem is Bree and I use it at our house, and so we'll actually say his name. But then the problem is we get out into the community, and it's like a problem because we'll almost slip up at times and be like,
yeah. We'll see if we make it until the day he's born. There might be a day where it slips out too many times, and we just have to announce what his name is. But he has a name, and we call all of his things by like his name, like, oh, it's so and so's room, or I'm up in so and so's room, or you know. Yeah, he has a name. You're being very selective.
No, there's literally no other questions.
What are you looking at?
I like these. Aw.
Micah asked if you're going to be their football coach. Micah McFarland.
Oh, that was way back, though, at the very beginning.
Yeah, but you didn't answer it.
The plan is that I would like to be. So I'm planning on it right now, as of the moment.
Yep.
Well, I just have to see when the baby comes, but right now I'm planning on being the football coach for the middle school at Berrien.
Allison asked, what are we doing at beach camp? Lots of fun stuff. You'll be hearing messages, going to big worship things, and then we'll be doing a lot of group activities either in the hotel or on the beach. Lots of really fun stuff that way. One of the Jarvises, I don't know which Jarvis is saying what because it just says Melissa Jarvis because you're on your mom's account. So what's an extrovert? An extrovert is someone who gets energy by being with people, whereas an introvert is someone who gets energy by being alone, if that makes sense. So it's just whether you want to, like, how you best thrive is like, Brad is an introvert, but he's learned how he needs to be extroverted at times, whereas I'm just an extrovert all the time and I'm really bad at being an introvert.
Yep.
Pretty much sums that up. You like to talk to people. I don't know if that's a question or a statement, but yeah, I like to talk to people.
Do you like geometry? No, math is not my favorite thing. I can do math, but I don't like doing math. It's not my favorite thing in the world. Let's see what else we
Micah's
got.
favorite number is 22.
Yeah, I saw 22, 5, 12.
I don't know
When
why.
is camp? Camp is June 14th through the 20th.
Yep. You better like turtle dove.
All right, let's do one more, and then we'll wrap it up. So, when is Brad's birthday? You missed it. It was February 1st.
Come and gone. He's old news. It's all about me now. No, just kidding. Any last minute questions?
Let's do rapid fire. Do you like books? Yes, I like reading books.
My birthday is Saturday. That's my birthday, the 21st.
Yep.
We said it at the very beginning. Brad gave a shout out, but you might not have been on yet. So my birthday's Saturday. Brad's was like a month ago. So now it's all about me. I'm just kidding. Do you want to confess what we got for my birthday?
Yeah. We got an Xbox. We decided we've never actually gotten anything that would be like gaming wise. But finally we were like, you know what? We can do this fun together and put appropriate restrictions on how much time we do it for. But we got one. So it's going to come on her birthday. So we'll be having some fun with that. That'll be fun. So.
But we're going to limit our screen time.
Yeah.
Because we don't always need to be looking at screens as I'm looking at a screen and talking to you guys. Like part of the reason we wanted the Xbox was because it's so easy for us to just turn on the TV or turn on a movie, and we figured having games to play would be a different way for us to interact and kind of play with each other. So
Bree's going to be 23 for those that asked how old.
23. So I guess
She's
I like that
22.
number too. That's a good number. What games do we have for the Xbox?
It's going to be the Xbox One S, so it doesn't come with game. Well, it has preloaded games.
It's coming with 2 games.
The Lego
one is a
one.
Lego racing one, and one is a different car racing one, because that was just the cheaper package that we got. So if you have Xbox game recommendations, you can let us know, because we're going to have to purchase them. So whatever's fun and low-key that we can play together. And we bought me a controller that's gray and teal. Not that that's important, but that makes me happy.
Okay, how about we wrap it up real soon?
Yep, we gotta
GTA,
wrap up.
Madden, Fortnite.
We've been going for like an hour.
NHL.
So. Yep. So you guys can always email us, text us, call us, Instagram us, Facebook us.
Yep.
Like I said, I don't know how you guys all best would like to communicate, but you can communicate to us in any of those ways, and we'll find you. So yeah, email, text, call, FaceTime, Facebook, Instagram, Skype. That's an old one we haven't used in a while, but we have Skype.
WhatsApp.
We have WhatsApp. What else do we have? I've wondered about getting Marco Polo. That's like a video version of something. But yeah, that generally is how you can communicate with us. So.
Well, thank you guys for jumping
Allison
on.
asked, what's our favorite color?
Yellow.
Brad, is your favorite color still yellow?
It's yellow or green, one of the two.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And you always wear blue?
No, it was never blue.
No, but you always wear blue. Like your clothes is always blue, but your favorite colors are yellow and green?
Yeah.
Those
Green, probably more so.
Green more so now? It used to be yellow. Reed asked when's my birthday again. This Saturday, March 21st. This Saturday, March 21st. And
Okay, we have to wrap it up. They're gonna keep sending in.
I know. Okay. Have I ever dyed my hair? I've never dyed my whole head of hair, but I've done like highlights or what's called a balayage, where they like kind of add tones into my hair. But I haven't colored my hair or dyed my hair in over a year. So, what's your Skype address? Ooh.
I have no clue. I have not.
I might have to get
back.
back to you on that one. Last time I used Skype was when we were long distance in college, so it's been a little while. Do you collect your mail? Okay, that's weird. No, I throw it away because I hate that it clutters my kitchen. Okay, well, if you guys think of more random questions, feel free to shoot them our way. I don't know if when you end this video, does it stay on our channel?
I think that we'll be able to upload this for later. I'm pretty sure.
Well, I'm like
Otherwise,
this video.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, because then you guys can continue adding comments on the video if it actually goes up on YouTube, and you guys can add your comments.
Yep.
But yeah, so we hope to go live again with you guys.
Yeah, and next time if you guys know that we're going live and there were people that didn't jump on today, let them know about it so that way then they can jump on as well. So we'd love to get as many people from Amplify and even people who maybe don't normally come to Amplify to jump on. So just a fun environment. So
everyone's saying goodbye and slowly signing off. So bye guys. Thank you so much for listening and hanging out for a little bit. I hope that this was a fun change of pace for your day. Don't forget to seek joy. And for those of you who are potentially afraid or fearful of what's going on, there's no need to be afraid. There's no need to be fearful because God's already overcome this world and he's behind our protection. And so we're safe in his arms. We're safe in his presence. And if you're one who's laughing about the whole coronavirus thing, it's not something to laugh about because there are people who could be greatly affected by it. And so we want to protect those people and love those people and pray for those people as well.
Yep.
So both of those extremes, let's find a happy medium in the middle. Let's love people. Let's be the hands and feet of Jesus. If you didn't read my email I sent out on Monday night, go ahead and read that. That has some fun ideas of ways to interact with other people, interact with your family, and ways to serve people in your community that might need some help right now. So go read my email because I spent like all day writing it.
All right. Well, we love you, Amplify. We'll see you later.
Bye, guys.